Welcome to the papier-mâché mini top hat class. You're going to need scissors, a grocery bag, a 6-inch circle, and a pencil or pen for this part. Let's get started. Take the handles off. We won't be using those. And you can start at the back seam and just work it apart. All the way to the bottom, and then take the bottom apart. You could use a butter knife or a chopstick or something for this. That would work. If you tear a little bit of the paper, it's fine. Find the glue and lift it up. And then you're going to smooth out all the little bumps. Flip it over, open it up. And we're going to use about half of this grocery bag to make one hat. If you want to make 2 hats at the same time, you can double up on what I'm showing you here. So you'd end up with 4 circles and 2 triangles at the end. But we're just going to do 1 hat. Here's our circle. It's 6 inches across. Anything that's roughly that size will work just fine. Keep in mind that you're going to be trimming off more, so it's better to start a little big and work your way down. Wanna be so good it hurts too much. Just wanna be so much more than I ever was. Just wanna grow. Just wanna grow like I know too much. Just wanna grow like I can't get enough of us. It's only you. Okay, so now we've got 2 circles. Smoothing out the wrinkles again. You're going to take 1 corner of it and fold it over. And that's it. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2. Get your glue guns warmed up on the lowest setting. We're going to be working closely with the glue, so you don't want to burn your fingers. Start by turning over and rolling down the longest side of your triangle into a tube. This is going to be the crown of your hat. The pointy end is the top and the flatter end is the bottom. To find the size and shape you want, tighten or loosen either end of the tube until you reach the desired shape. The standard crown shape is a semi-bell crown, being slightly larger around the top of the crown for a classic, elegant look. Full bell crowns have a more pronounced topper, giving you a bit of a Mad Hatter effect. This is what I'm making here. There's also the stovepipe shape, using the same size on each end to give you more of an Abraham Lincoln style. Once you have found the shape you want to try, Pinch the hat with your non-dominant hand about 3 inches from where you see the triangle corner on the outside bottom. Lift that corner and run a bead of glue a few inches. Depending on your crown's shape and angle, you will notice that the bottom is uneven. Take your scissors and trim it flat. Setting it on the table to see that there aren't big spaces. A little space is all right as long as it's within a 1/4 inch. Set the bottom of the crown in the center of one circle. This circle is the brim of your hat. Begin to glue the crown to the brim, turning the brim slowly with your non-dominant hand. Take your time with this part. It's important to create a solid seal so you don't have any holes in the brim of your hat. Put a dot of glue on the corner sticking out on the outside of the crown. Trim the topper of your hat to the height you'd like. It's totally up to you, as long as your circle will fit on top of it. Keep in mind that a super tall hat is trickier to balance and secure on your head. And we're just going to trim it up to make sure it sits evenly. You can flip it over on the table to check and make sure it's laying flat. And we're going to do the same thing that we did connecting the brim. Turn your hat upside down onto your other circle, and we're going to glue it just like we did with the brim. I'm showing this fast forwarded, but take your time. You want to make sure that you get a nice seal and you have no holes around the outside. Unless you want holes in your hat, that could be fun. Now turn your hat upside down and poke a hole in it with your pen or pencil in the bottom of the hat. Use the tip of your scissors to carefully cut a hole out. You can feel for the hot glue with the end of your scissors as you're going. You do not want to cut into the hot glue. Just get close to it. Flip it over, and we're going to trim the top of the crown. Same idea, being careful not to cut into the hot glue. It's okay if it sticks out a little bit at the top. The papier-mâché is going to cover that up, and it gives it some character to have a nice lid on it. Just keep it within a 1/4 inch sticking out. All right, and we're almost done with this section. We just need to put some loops on the inside. I like to use ribbon for these loops. You could use twine or yarn or leather, anything, a shoelace. and cut 2 pieces about 4 inches long. We're going to flip them over and glue the 2 ends together. Just a little dot of glue. Glue those together. Careful not to get glue on your fingers like I just did. And one more dot of glue. We're going to secure it to the inside. You're going to want about 1/2 inch sticking out of your hat. This way you can use barrettes, hairpins, headbands, anything you want to secure it. All right, and once you've got both loops in, you are done. Okay, get ready for part 3. We're gonna need glue and water and a container to mix it in, a bristle brush, your gift tissue paper, and a blow dryer. And welcome back to part 3. For this, we're going to be using school glue, water in a container like this one. You see, I like to use a mason jar. 50% water, 50% glue, I find is a good ratio, depending on the glue that you're using. But you can see how easily it drips off the brush. Take 1 piece of your tissue paper, gift wrap tissue paper, and start tearing it off into little sections about 1 to 2 inches wide and 3 to 4 inches long, roughly. It's really not an exact science. Usually 1 sheet of tissue paper will do an entire hat. Be sure to wipe off your bristle brush so no drips are coming out. And we're going to start painting the mixture onto the top of the hat. Just to get it wet, not soaking wet. You don't want it to run, just to be shiny. So cover the top of the hat and around the top of the crown, like you see. And your bristle brush should be able to pick up a piece of tissue paper if it has the right amount of glue on it. If it doesn't stick, it's probably too wet, and wipe your brush again. Try to pick up a piece of tissue paper and place that on top of your hat, smoothing it out as you go, and just keep going. You can overlap. I like to overlap usually about 1/2 inch. And as you come around the sides, use the tip of your brush to tap those pieces into the edges. You don't have to do it hard. And if it wrinkles up, it's totally fine. It's gonna dry clear and it's gonna look like leather. It'll be beautiful. Just make sure that you've got wet grocery bag. And see those drips on the top? That's a little too wet. You wanna wipe those smooth. It should always have kind of a bubbly, milky consistency as you're going. got a little piece of glue, hot glue there. And we're just gonna keep on going, covering the paper bag first till it's shiny. And smoothing it out. Always making sure to wipe your brush so it doesn't get too wet. If it does get too wet, it's okay, just move it around. And just tap, tap, tap into those creases and corners with the tip of your brush. And we can overlap, I would say 3 layers. You don't want to do too many layers of the gift tissue because it'll start to break down as you're brushing over it and over it again, and it'll take longer to dry. But 2 to 3 layers is going to give you a really nice solid hat. You'll notice that I'm only doing 1 layer in some areas, and that's totally fine too. You can always see what it looks like after it's dry and decide, do I want it to be thicker? And as we get down closer to the brim of the hat, we're going to start using the tip of the brush again to push it into the corners. Now I'm going to start layering down to the brim. And it's really important that you don't get the brim soaking wet because it'll start to get really floppy. We just want to get it shiny. And if you find pieces that are more triangular, you can put one corner facing up. And as we're going around, connecting the brim, we want to use the tip of the brush, tap it into the corner there, and then brush out around the brim. If you feel like your hat is getting too wet to work with at any time, you can pause and blow dry your hat and then continue to work with it. Or if you just want to take a break and come back to it later, you can always let it dry, put a lid on your glue, wash your brush and come back to it. I'm going to fast forward the rest of the brim here, but please take your time. There is no rush. And we are almost done with this section. And once you're done with the top, the crown, and the brim, you want to blow dry the hat before doing the underside. This is going to take about 10 minutes. I've fast forwarded this part for you guys. So if you want to pause it now and blow dry your hat until it's totally dry. Otherwise, the tissue paper is going to be moving all over the place when you try to work with it. You can also leave it sitting overnight by a heat vent or put it out in the sun. Okay, so my hat is dry. And that's it. We're gonna finish and decorate in the next part. You're gonna need that same glue and water mixture, your bristle brush, more gift tissue, the blow dryer, your scissors, some ribbon to decorate, and whatever additional jewels and bits and baubles you want to put on your hat. We can do that in the next section. And welcome back to part 4. We're gonna finish our hats in this part. You'll need your glue water mixture, a little more gift tissue, a bristle brush, blow dryer, scissors, and then the ribbon and decorations that you want to use to finish your hat. We're going to start by doing the underside of the brim. You're just going to need a few more bits of the gift tissue to finish off the brim. As you pick up the pieces, find the shapes that are going to line up and curve around your brim so you don't use too much tissue. I always like to conserve what I'm using because I make a lot of hats. And you can use your hands to fix it if you can't lay it quite perfectly with the brush. This is definitely something that I understand you guys probably aren't as used to working with as I am. So it's totally fine if you get it stuck in the wrong place and you pick it up once or twice. Depending on the thickness of the gift tissue, it'll let you manipulate it a bit more the thicker it is. So this part should go fairly quickly once you get all of those pieces on there, and then we're just gonna be blow drying same way we did, only this time the blow dryer part of it should only take 2 or 3 minutes to set. And I will fast forward through the blow drying part like I did before. You don't need to worry about the overlapping bits of tissue. We're going to fix all that later and clean it up really nice. And once the hat is dry, you're going to trim around the edge of the brim. If you want to take a little bit off of the brim to make it smaller, that's fine too. You can always cover, if the bag is showing a little bit, you can find a marker that matches closely with the gift tissue and fill it in. If your brim dries a little wavy and you're not going for that look, you can easily manipulate it once it's dry by curling it around the side of a pen or pencil and find the shape that you're looking for. You can see a lot more hats that have been finished with different brims and styles on my Instagram page. We're going to decorate this hat with some raffia that I found in my ribbon box. I wrap it around the base of the crown 3 or 4 times and tie it in a knot. Tying things around the base of the crown is a great temporary look that is easy to change out. You don't have to commit to anything with different ribbons and things like that. And you can change your look depending on the event that you're wearing it for. The ribbon loops under the brim are great because you can use anything that you run through them to attach the hat. You can use a headband like I'm showing you here. You can also use a shoelace or a ribbon. You can also use barrettes, clips, bobby pins to attach the hat with these loops. Hi, my name is Erin Edison and I'm an artist and musician. I've been teaching kids for 18 years. When I was a kid, I was always dilly-dallying. I was daydreaming and building things that I never thought of as art. I'm really excited to share with you this design that I came up with about 5 years ago. I was planning a party and I wanted to have something fun that people could take home. And this is what I came up with. We were putting them on the dog at the party. It was so much fun. I like to look at these hats as canvases, and then you get to make them personal by painting them or decorating them however you want. This is just white house paint, some acrylic primer that I mixed with a little bit of water. Let's say you have a cat that is patient enough to wear a hat, maybe just to take a picture. This one has, I think it's called raffia that I wrapped around there, and a feather, and there's another feather that I made that feather out of leather, a piece of leather that I just cut. I painted a feather on the side of this hat. I think it worked out really well, and I found some old beads that I just restrung and wrapped around. I'm a big Jane Austen fan, so I wrote a quote from Jane Austen. I painted a face on the top and sort of a body here. I'm so excited to share this with you, and I can't wait to see the new designs that you guys come up with. Please use the hashtag dillydallyings, and you can follow me at dillydallyings on Instagram.